Hello friends, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Today, we're going to explain the movie The Nun, a horror story where a demon nun is unleashed. She's not just terrifying in appearance, but her actions are equally horrifying. Before we dive into the video, let me tell you one thing. We'll be looking at this movie from a different perspective, so you can enjoy and understand it even more deeply. So, the movie begins with a scene where a group of priests are having a discussion with Father Burke. They tell him he needs to find out what really happened at the Abbey. Was it truly a suicide, or was the nun murdered? They also tell him to take a girl named Irene along with him. Somehow, she seems to have a connection to the Abbey, because Sister Irene has been having visions about it. Sister Irene hesitates at first, but eventually she agrees to go. The next day, both of them set off for the Abbey. But before reaching there, they meet a man named Frenchie. He's the one who discovered the nun's dead body. Frenchie tells them, "When I was on my way to work, I saw a nun hanging outside the Abbey's church. I don't know whether it was suicide or someone murdered her." The three of them begin walking toward the Abbey church. After some time, they arrive at the place. Frenchie says, "I've been here many times before, and not once have I seen any human presence. But I always feel like there's a shadow following me, a very creepy one, and inside the church. I don't know why, but it always feels like someone's watching from within." Father Burke was not just a priest. He was also a paranormal investigator. He had to uncover the truth behind the nun's death at any cost. If some evil force was behind it, then it was his duty to cleanse this unholy place. Frenchie then takes them to the house, where he had kept the nun's dead body. But as soon as he sees the body again, he is completely shocked. Frenchie says, "Father Burke, I saw this nun hanging outside the church." Father Burke looks at the body and says, I saw a nun hanging from her neck, but now her body is sitting upright." He adds, "I've seen many cases where the body remains in a seated or unusual position after death." Friends, before we continue the story, let's take a look at what exactly happened to this nun that night. Let's go into a flashback. It was night. Everything inside the Abbey seemed normal on the surface. We then see two nuns entering the Abbey church. It's completely dark. There are crosses placed all along the sides, as if they're meant to hold something back. The two nuns reach a heavy door. Above it, a message is carved. "God ends here." One of the nuns, who holds a key, unlocks the door and steps inside. The other nun stays behind, silently praying. After a short while, the nun returns, her body soaked in blood. She hands the key to the other nun and says, "Take this key and leave. You'll know what to do next. But whatever happens, don't let her get you. She needs a soul to enter this world." Then suddenly, some dark force pulls the nun inside the room. Terrified, the nun standing outside grabs the key and runs away. As she runs, she sees a horrifying shadow slowly approaching her. All the candles around begin to extinguish one by one. Out of fear, the nun ties a rope around her neck and hangs herself. If she hadn't done this, the shadow would have possessed her body, just like the first nun had warned. Back in the present, Father Burke takes the key from the dead nun's hand. He notices there's a door nearby. Frenchie tells him that the demon nun keeps appearing and disappearing through that very path, the same shadow we saw earlier. The three of them then respectfully bury the nun's body. Afterward, they proceed to the Abbey. There, Father Burke notices something strange. Even after all this time, the dead nun's blood is still fresh. All three of them enter the church. Inside, they meet an old nun, the Mother Superior. Her face is completely hidden. The Mother Superior tells them to leave immediately, but Father Burke replies firmly, "A nun has died here. We must investigate this place and destroy whatever evil caused her death. If we don't, more people from the nearby town will come here, and they'll be at risk too." The Mother Superior answers, "It's almost evening. It's time for our prayers. You may stay in the house nearby for the night and return in the morning." Father Burke tells Frenchie to head back to his house, as it's already getting quite dark. While walking through the woods, Frenchie suddenly notices the shadow of a nun. As he watches closely, the nun suddenly attacks him, but somehow Frenchie manages to escape her grasp. Meanwhile, Father Burke and Sister Irene are having dinner. Sister Irene says, "Since childhood, I've had strange visions. In those visions, Mother Mary always shows me the way." Father Burke also recalls an old memory, an incident from 20 years ago, which he shares with Irene. After dinner, both of them head to their rooms for the night. As the clock strikes midnight, some kind of electronic device suddenly starts working on its own. Father Burke grabs a torch and steps outside to investigate. As he moves further, he sees a child standing in the dark, curious and concerned. Father Burke follows the child, which leads him all the way to the cemetery. But when he finally sees the child's face, he's completely stunned, because this wasn't just any child. 20 years ago in France, Father Burke had performed an exorcism on this same boy. During the ritual, the boy had suffered terribly, but somehow Father Burke had managed to save him. Yet, a few years later, the child died, and now standing before him was that same child, possessed and demonic. Suddenly, a snake slithers out of the boy's mouth, and he viciously attacks Father Burke, causing him to fall into an open coffin lying in a pit. In no time, the coffin shuts, and soil begins to cover it. Father Burke is now buried alive. Trapped inside, he desperately rings the bell attached to the coffin, hoping someone will hear him. On the other side, Sister Irene wakes up, startled by a sudden gust of wind. She hears a strange voice calling from outside, so she steps out to investigate. She begins to follow the voice, and suddenly, we see a dark shadow chasing her. Sister Irene follows the eerie sound and ends up at the church. Inside, she sees several nuns kneeling and praying together. But then, a shadowy figure appears in front of her. That shadow begins to move slowly, menacingly, toward Irene. And then, in one terrifying moment, the shadow gets absorbed into a mirror. It's an absolutely horrifying sight. Terrified, Sister Irene runs from the church. As she reaches outside, she hears the sound of a bell ringing. It's Father Burke, still ringing the bell from underground. Irene follows the sound all the way to the graveyard. But when she gets there, she finds that bells are ringing from every grave. Confused, she closes her eyes and focuses. A vision comes to her, showing exactly which grave Father Burke is trapped in. She rushes to that grave and begins digging frantically. Meanwhile, inside the coffin, Father Burke starts to feel as if he's not alone. Suddenly, demonic hands emerge from the darkness. It's the demon nun, attacking him from within the coffin. But just in time, Sister Irene pulls him out and saves him. Inside the coffin, Father Burke finds a few ancient books. He grabs them before they leave. The next morning, they both arrive at the convent. Father Burke hands the key, the same one they found with the dead nun, to Sister Irene, and says, "Find out which door this key opens." Sister Irene enters the nun's house, key in hand. Sister Irene sees a nun walking away after spotting her. She calls out several times, but the nun doesn't respond. Curious, Sister Irene follows the nun inside. She finds the nun praying silently in front of a large cross. Before Irene can step closer, another nun appears and stops her. She says, "Every nun takes turns praying here, and the shifts keep rotating. Please don't disturb the praying nun." Saying that, she quietly walks away. Meanwhile, Frenchie is at a shop, talking to the shopkeeper. He learns that a 12-year-old girl had also committed suicide recently, and somehow all these incidents seem to be connected to the nuns' convent. Frenchie starts to feel that Father Burke and Sister Irene might be in danger, so he sets out to help them. On the other side, Father Burke is reading through the ancient books, when the main gate, the same one Sister Irene had entered through, suddenly shuts. Inside, Sister Irene is talking to one of the nuns. She says, "Last night, I saw the demon nun myself. These suicides, they're all connected. That demon nun is behind everything." But the other nun refuses to discuss anything and says, "You should leave from here." The first nun intervenes and says, "All the doors have been sealed. Sister Irene, you'll have to stay here tonight." She leaves Irene inside a small room. Meanwhile, Father Burke is studying the map of the convent. He locates the same area where they had earlier found the old nun, the Mother Superior. Father Burke says, "A lot of strange and evil things are happening at this location." He also mentions the key they found, but Mother Superior replies, "It's useless now." On the other hand, Sister Irene has another vision. Mother Mary appears again to guide her. But this time, the demon nun also appears in the vision. Startled, Sister Irene wakes up with a jolt. She sees a nun standing silently in her room. As the figure begins moving toward her, Sister Irene suddenly gets another vision, this time of the suicide nun. At that very moment, the door of her room creaks open on its own. Sister Irene walks forward and arrives at the same door that reads, "God ends here." Mysteriously, the door opens on its own. There, standing before her, is the demon nun. It lunges toward her, trying to attack and terrify her. But just in time, another nun appears and saves Sister Irene. Later, when Irene returns to the nun's hall, she sees a nun praying, and beside her, a dead body lies on the floor. Sister Irene walks over to check the body. As she removes the cloth covering it, she's shocked to see it's the body of the same nun who had just been with her moments ago. On the other side, Father Burke again sees the mysterious child. Suddenly, the child attacks him. Father Burke somehow manages to escape and runs away. It's then revealed that the child is actually the demon nun, the same one who kept taking the form of the young Mother Superior. Back inside the church, several nuns have gathered together for prayer. One of the nuns tells Sister Irene, "You must pray along with us. No matter what happens, keep your eyes fixed on Mother Mary." As they begin praying, blood starts to flow from the eyes of Mother Mary's statue. Suddenly, the demon nun appears and attacks the praying nuns, disturbing their rituals. Despite the chaos, Sister Irene continues praying with full devotion. Meanwhile, Father Burke returns to the ice house. There, a demonic force attacks him. Just in time, Frenchie arrives and saves Father Burke. Back in the church, the demon nun tries to stop Sister Irene from praying. Using her powers, the demon creates a pentagram symbol on Irene's body. At this point, Father Burke and Frenchie reach the church. Sister Irene tells them, "I and all the nuns here, we're praying together to protect ourselves from this demon nun." But when she turns around, there's no one there. Only a dead body lies behind her. When she lifts the cloth from the body, she's horrified to realize all the nuns she had seen with her until now were already dead. They were the souls of the dead nuns. All of them had been killed by the demon nun long ago. Suddenly, that dead body rises and attacks Father Burke. He places the Holy Cross on her and manages to destroy the demonic spirit. Frenchie says, "We need to get out of here right now." But Sister Irene refuses and says, "That nun didn't commit suicide. She sacrificed herself. The demon needs a human life to enter this world." She continues, "I saw the dead body of the Mother Superior in a basement, and I know where that place is. There must be a door somewhere that fits this key. But before going there," she says, "I need to become a true nun first." So Father Burke performs the final rites and officially makes Sister Irene a full-fledged nun. The three of them then proceed to the basement, stopping at a statue of Madonna. Father Burke realizes where the secret door might be, since Sister Irene has been getting visions since childhood. They believe Mother Mary will guide them. They look in the direction where the statue's hand is pointing, and there they find the door. Using the key, Irene opens it. Inside, they discover a vial containing the blood of Jesus Christ. Now, the trio goes to the place where "God ends here" is written. They want to discover the origin point of the demon nun, so they decide to split up and explore different directions. The demon nun appears in the same area where Sister Irene had gone, and viciously attacks her. Irene somehow escapes and finds another hidden door. She enters it, only to see the same pentagram symbol that the demon had marked on her earlier. As she tries to escape, suddenly, multiple demonic entities appear and surround her. The doors begin slamming shut on their own. Hearing her terrified screams, Frenchie runs toward the door. At this point, many demonic nuns appear to stop Father Burke. But Father quickly creates a cross of fire and runs away. Meanwhile, Frenchie opens another door and enters, only to find himself surrounded by many demons. Suddenly, he sees Sister Irene, but something is wrong. She's in a strange, frozen position. That's because the demon nun has possessed Irene from within. The demon nun attacks Frenchie and begins to strangle him. But Frenchie smartly pulls out the bottle of Jesus blood and splashes it onto the demon nun's face. This forces the demon out of Irene's body, but now the demon turns her full rage toward Frenchie and begins strangling him again. Irene regains her strength and rushes forward to save Frenchie, but the demon nun throws her with great force into a pit filled with deep water. Elsewhere, Father Burke is once again attacked by the same child, the one who had died 20 years ago. This demonic child scratches at Father Burke's eyes, damaging them severely. Back in the water, Irene sees that the vial of Jesus' blood had fallen into the pool and is now floating nearby. Suddenly, the demon nun emerges from the water and grabs hold of Irene, trying to drown her. Father Burke tries to help by holding up his cross, but the demon nun uses her powers to throw him away. Underwater, Irene pulls the floating vial toward herself, but just as she gets it, the demon nun snatches it from her hand. She looks inside. It's empty, but here's the twist. Irene had already taken all the blood into her mouth underwater, anticipating this exact moment. As the demon nun stares at the empty vial in confusion, Irene suddenly bursts out of the water and spits the holy blood right onto the demon nun's face. The blood burns the demon nun terribly. Some of the holy blood also spreads into the water, and now the entire pool becomes blessed with holiness. The water turns sacred. As a result, both the demon nun and the water are absorbed into a portal, banishing the evil forever. And this is how the movie ends. So friends, how did you like this video? Tell us in the comments below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more such stories. We'll soon be bringing you the explanation of The Nun 2 with a deeper angle and chilling twists.